If you don't have a strap, which is fine, anything that you can wrap around your foot and pull will help. Okay? So I'm going to turn lengthwise, and we're going to start stretching the entire backside of our legs. So the backside of the body, posterior, this is the posterior chain. And sometimes people think their hamstrings are too tight. The hamstrings are the muscles behind the leg, behind the big thigh bone. But the hamstrings attach from your hips and they go all the way to your shin bone. So there's like a big chunk of muscle there. And your calves attach from the bottom of your ankle, and they attach to your femur bone. So sometimes it could be your calves, sometimes it could be your hamstrings, sometimes it could be both. So we're going to do a couple of stretches to address all those things. Now, a couple of guidelines. Number one is be patient with yourself. And you have to be honest. Don't go too far, too soon, too fast. There's a lot that goes into stretching, and it's not just tugging on the muscles. There's a mental aspect, whether you've got pain tolerance, whether you have a tolerance to change. That can go into the manifestation of loosening up your muscles and whatnot. So give it time. Second guideline, make sure you feel it in your muscles. If you start to feel discomfort or weirdness in your joints, stop immediately. The consensus is, if you can feel it deep in the muscles, it's good to go. If you're getting too close to joints and bones, back off a little bit and try again. Okay, so here we go. Let's give it a try. Now in this case, this is my right leg. Bend the right knee, and it's called dorsiflexing the right ankle. The strap or whatever is going to come around the ball of the foot. Not on the toes, not on the heel, but on the ball of the foot. And we're just going to gently start to pull the foot closer and closer toward the shin. Shoulders down, elbows bent, and we're going to hold and breathe. Now another guideline to consider is there's really no time limit on a stretch. Science has shown that 2 minutes is usually a minimum to take effect. But if you're breathing and you're pulling on your strap or you're pulling on your towel, even if you may not need a towel or a strap, you can just use your hands and pull your foot towards your shin. If you gradually feel the tightness back off, that's fine. It might take 30 seconds. It might take 5 minutes. The thing is, just be mindful, breathe deeply, and let your muscles do their things. Now, in the interest of time, we're only going to stay here for a couple more seconds. One more inhale. Now we gently release. Now straighten the leg completely if you can. And remember, you can sit on yoga blocks, you can sit on pillows, you can sit on whatever you need to get your hips a little higher. But see if you can make your legs straight. Same thing, we're going to wrap around the ball of the foot, and this time pull the toes towards the shin. And this is going to get a little bit deeper into the calf. The first stretch, we were getting into what's called the soleus. Now we're getting into what's called the gastrocnemius. And those are the two muscles that are the back of the shin bone. When we call it the calves, it's the soleus and the gastrocnemius. And just hold and breathe. So if we can free up the calf muscles, that's going to help free up the hamstrings. If we can free up the hamstrings, that's going to help free up the glutes. If we can free up the glutes, it's going to help free up the low back. So that's why they call it a kinetic chain, because it's very rarely just one muscle or one quality. It's everything, literally from your toes to your nose. Just a couple more breaths here. It's nice and easy. And do your best to maintain the same amount of tension. So you're still pulling pretty good on your feet, on your foot. One more inhale, gently release. So just take a second and see if you notice a difference from one calf together or one foot together, one leg together. Is the foot you just stretched, is that leg freer? And if not, that's okay. We're just taking mental notes, so we're developing a mind-body awareness. Now go ahead and switch sides. So bend your left knee, bend your left ankle. The strap, the towel, or your hands go around the ball of the left foot. And you're just pulling, you're trying to pull the top of your foot towards your shin. And breathe. Try not to hold your breath. If you hold your breath, that creates tension. Tension tenses the muscles. Right now we're trying to avoid that. We just want to get a little bit deeper, a little bit of better ankle mobility. Let's see if we can get a stretch into the soleus. One more inhale. One more exhale. And see if we can straighten that left leg. And then repeat. Left leg straight. Pull the left foot towards your shin. And breathe. Now, the technique for the straps should be kind of easy. Shoulders down. It's almost like you're trying to do a rowing motion. If I drop the strap, go like this. It's a rowing motion. But because my foot's in the way, my arms get stuck. And you get a nice isometric contraction across the shoulder blades, through your biceps, and just keep working your shoulders down. Steady breathing. It's nice and easy. If you were to watch this video again, pause the video anytime you need to, so that you can hold the stretches longer if you need to. But in the interest of time, we'll be here just for a little bit. One more inhale. Exhale, gently release. Good. So then again, just double check, see how things feel. Maybe you feel some blood rush back into the muscles. Maybe there's increased mobility, etc. Now, the next stretch is going to be it's going to be a little tricky for some, but do the best you can with what you've got. We're going to try to go into the hamstrings, and let me demonstrate it for you first, and see if we can go through it together. Here we lie on our backs. In this case, the right knee is bent. The strap comes across the ball of the foot, just like we've done before. But now the difference is try to straighten the leg all the way. Now, straightening the leg all the way just means straightening the leg all the way. If you have the length for your strap or your towel, your leg may be down here, and that's okay. The goal is just to get the leg straight. Maybe your leg's up here, and that's also okay. What we're trying to do, no matter where your leg is, we're trying to pull on the strap to get the leg or the foot to come closer and closer towards our face. Once you feel some resistance, wherever it is, that's where you hold and you breathe. But you got to keep your legs straight. The number one thing that happens is most folks will bend their knees because they're trying to take the tension out of the hamstring and they're trying to go, quote, deeper, deeper, deeper into the stretch. But as soon as you bend your leg, all is lost. So you got to keep your legs straight. So this might be super, 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 super deep for someone. And that's okay. Just do your best, hang out here and breathe. And eventually, over time, the stretch reflex will soften and you'll be able to get further and further into the stretch. So wherever you wind up, with your leg completely straight. Find a spot that's a little tense. You're getting some feedback there, and you hold and you breathe. Steady breathing. Keep your shoulders down. Let the strap do the work for you. Just hang in there and breathe. We're still trying to pull the foot toward the shin, even though the leg is straight. 2 more breaths. It's nice and easy. And now from here, just bend your knee. Let your foot touch the ground and let your leg go straight flat on the ground. And then double check. How does one leg feel compared to the other? Then we switch sides. Left leg. Make the leg straight. How do you know if the leg is straight? Look at it and see that it's straight. Your quadriceps muscles, the muscles in the front of the leg, they're going to contract. And that puts length in your hamstrings. And then we're still working, lengthening the hamstrings by putting more of an angle on your hip flexor here. When you feel that little bit of resistance, that's when you pause and you breathe. So a little bit of resistance is exactly that. If you're grinding your teeth, shaking and vibrating and holding your breath, you've gone too far. Find a spot where it's clear. You go, oh yeah, there's my hamstrings. I get it. But you can breathe, you can talk, but you feel a little bit of tension in the hamstrings. We're going to hold here and breathe here. Keep working the foot toward the shin. And just do your best to make your leg as straight as possible, even if it's very close to the ground. Even if your nose is touching your toes. If you're super, super bendy, that's okay too. Just keep your legs straight. That's the goal. One more inhale. One more exhale. Bend the left knee. Let the left foot touch the ground. Let the left leg go straight. And again, just double check to see how both legs feel. Now from here, let's come up to a seated position any way you can. You don't have to do what I just did. You just roll over to one side is fine. We're going to put the strap over to the side for right now. I have the world's longest strap, so I'm not going to roll it up right now. It'll take too long. So we just got the posterior side of the body, more or less from the hips down to the ankles. Now we're going to stretch out the front of the body a little bit. So first thing is to externally rotate your arm. If you look at the corner of your shoulders here, kind of like where like a tank top strap would go, if you turn your arm out, you'll see that this lengthens here. So you want to turn the arms out. See if you can bring them behind your body. Even if you take your arms wide, that's okay. Arms behind your body. And hopefully you start to feel a stretch across your chest. Now if you're good here, stay here. And if this is enough of a stretch, don't move. It's totally fine. If you need a little bit more, squeeze your shoulder blades together, push your shoulder blades down, and start lifting your chest. You're trying to bring your chest bone to your chin bone. So really lift up. Breathe. Your legs are active. Your feet are pulling towards your shins. You're really trying to lift your chest bone towards your chin. Be mindful, because this can be a very intense stretch on your biceps. This can be an intense stretch across your chest. Make sure your fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders, arms, everything should feel okay. And we're really just trying to open the chest. So we're tightening the back, but we're opening up the chest. One more inhale, but keep lifting, keep stretching, keep breathing. One more exhale. And gently lean forward just a little bit. Come out of the stretch. Shake out your arms if it feels like you need to shake out your arms. Wiggle your legs a little bit. Get rid of any residual tension. And let's come up and do a couple of standing poses and see if they feel a little different now.